This song I dug out of Jimmy's archives. Jimmy, you know, was a historian and a teacher for whole career before he was ever discovered as a singer-songwriter. But he wrote this old song about Jacksonport. If you follow Highway 14 east, you'll run into the White River. Then if you go up White River just a bit, you'll run into Jacksonport State Park. And that was the original settlement over there. It's changed its name to Newport now when they built the railroads through in the 1880s. But evidently from the Jimmy song that I dug up here, one of the soldiers that fought with Andrew Jackson at the Battle of New Orleans came up the rivers and came up there and settled and had a trading post there. So they named the county for Andrew Jackson. It's Jackson County. And the original settlement was called Jacksonport, which they later changed to Newport. And it's still Jackson County. So this is that song, immortalized by Jimmy Driftwood. Oh, as I went up Jacksonport, from the port of Rolling, I stopped in Natchez under the hill, visiting Cajun Queen. Then I went on up the Mississippi, turned left on the White, found that place called Jacksonport that gave my heart delight. But I came back down to Jacksonport from the land of the buffalo. So many hides up on my horses they could hardly roll. I stopped in Ozark Mountain Vale, camped beside a stream. I either slept with an Indian maid or had the strangest dream. Oh, Jacksonport, Jacksonport, wherever I may roam, Jacksonport, oh Jacksonport, you'll always be my home. I found me a woman in Jacksonport, finest in the world. But when I'm gone, I cannot keep from looking at a pretty girl. I love to hear their voices sweet, they ring like a silver bell. A man's a man on a mountain trail, there's some things he don't tell. Oh, Jacksonport, Jacksonport, wherever I may roam, Jacksonport, oh Jacksonport, you'll always be my home. Well, my woman took a nervous spell, and a roving I did go, 900 steers from Arkansas to California. We sold them steers in Stockton town for 40 bucks a head. Then we rode on back to Arkansas and never spent a red. Oh, Jacksonport, Jacksonport, wherever I may roam, Jacksonport, oh Jacksonport, you'll always be my home. When my droving days are over, and I hope they bury me on the riverbank near Jacksonport beneath the cypress tree. When the songs I love are sung, and they say goodbye, old sport, I hope they carve up on that tree, loved old Jacksonport. Oh, Jacksonport, Jacksonport, wherever I may roam, Jacksonport, oh Jacksonport, you'll always be my home. A little boy and lived over Bedard Mountain in Richwoods Valley, and the government of the Confederacy come up from Little Rock to round up a bunch of guys to fight for the Confederacy, and they chained them all up 3 abreast. Well, they gathered 100 conscripts up, and one of them was the odd man. They had no one to chain him up with, so they hooked a ball and chain around his leg and was marching to Little Rock. And he escaped and got away, got down in the creek bottom and escaped. And all the years of the war, he wandered around from homestead to homestead up in these mountains asking for food. And that's what this song's about. It's called He Had a Long Chain On. One night as I lay on my pillow, moon shining bright as the dawn, I saw a man walking. He had a long chain on. I heard his chain a-clanking. It made such a mournful sound. Wielded around his body, dragging along the ground. He stood outside my window. He looked at me and he said, I am so tired and so hungry. Give me a bite of your bread. Oh, he had a long chain on. He had a long chain on. He had a long chain on. Well, he didn't look like a robber. He didn't look like a thief. His voice was as soft as the twilight, his face full of sorrow and grief. I went into my kitchen, got him a bowl full of meat. He drank in a can of cold biscuit, that's what I gave him to eat. Although he was tired and hungry, a bright light came over his face. He bowed his head in the moonlight. He said a beautiful grace. Oh, he had a long chain on. He had a long chain on. He had a long chain on. I fetched my hammer and chisel, offered to set him free. He bowed his head and said sadly, I guess we had best let it be. After he finished his supper, he thanked me again and again. Although it's been years since I saw him, I still hear him dragging his chain. Oh, he had a long chain on. He had